To have you. This is the most exciting session on the program. Don't tell anyone that I said that. Let me just bring on board our speakers. Busi Selesho, one moment. There's Verity. Hi, Verity.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What a crazy day. Hey, I'm telling you. Let me just bring Lucy on board as well. Alex, do you want to help us here quickly, please? I just can't find Lucy. Oh, there she is. Did we get it? We've just added Lucy, but we can't see her. What's happening? Verity, before we start, so if we are actually on camera, everybody can see us. They can hear even this little conversation we're having now. Hello, Busi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm well. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, we can hear you very well. Just to you too, so at the bottom there, Verity, it should say where you can actually share your slides once you want to share, right? Do you see that option?
I will find it. I'm looking.
Okay, let us know if
I
you
can
can't
go without slides if I need to, so don't worry.
No, but if you've prepared a presentation, we want you to be able to share it. So, Alex, do you want us to just sort out that quickly? Where can she see where she shares the slide? Okay, just scroll a little bit down, Verity. There should be an option. Sorry, guys. Good afternoon to our attendees. We love you. Thank you so much for being here. We'll start shortly, guys. We just need to, this technology and all. We live and learn, don't we?
Always. Is it the allow hop in to see your screen?
Is that the one? Yes, that should be that one. So when you're ready to present, you'll be able to go on that one.
We'll try it. If it doesn't work, I can just talk, so no problem.
We'll flex it. Once again, a very, very good afternoon to all of our Empower Her Pitching Den candidates. First of all, I just want to congratulate you all for successfully completing the Empower Her Masterclass series. We really salute your commitment to your own growth and to, we know that most of you are parents, most of you have other things to do, you've got jobs some of you are attending full-time jobs while you're entrepreneurs as well. So very, very well done on your commitment that you've shown against all odds. We really applaud you and we're very excited to have you. I see there are 14 people. So at the end of the day, at the end of the sessions, once Musi and Verity have spoken, then we will add you to the screen to be able to see you, where we'll have a live Q&A session and you will be able to ask your questions directly. Is that okay, guys? So don't be upset if we don't add you now. We just want these speakers to empower us and to give us all the knowledge that we need. As I said, this is the final stop to the Empower Her series. Before you're pitching then 50,000 Rand cash prize, this is one last stop. We just wanted to make sure that you've got the competitive advantage that you need in order to deliver your 3-minute elevated pitch for the pitching den, which will be on the 27th of October. So after this session, we will send you just a summary of the nuggets that we've received from our speakers. And we'll just to make sure that you are also prepared. And on Monday, the 17th of October, we will ask you, you will submit your first video, 3-minute elevated pitch, just for us to look at it and maybe give you a couple more tips before we put you in front of the judges on the 27th. Enough from my side. So let me introduce our speakers before we go too far. We've got Verity Price. Verity Price is an award-winning and internationally award-winning speaker. She was 2021 world champion of the Toastmasters. So Verity's passion is to, her safe space, as she calls it on LinkedIn, her safe space is to teach people on how to present with power. And then we've got Busi Selesho. Busi Selesho is a champion in terms of she knows exactly how to get funding. So Busi will literally get funding from government, from private sector. I think if she could, she would even get funding from a rock. So Busi has walked the walk of an entrepreneur, has made money, got into a lot of debt, got out of the debt as well. And now today she's gone, I mean, she's been through a 16-year period where she couldn't do anything as a result of getting too much funding and as a result of getting into a lot of debt. So Busi is going to give us the nuggets because she has walked the walk. She will give us the case studies and she will tell us what the worst thing to do is and what the best thing is to do. Once again, very, very warm welcome, guys. And as I said, this is the most exciting session on the program today, just between us, only because entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs are the key to unlocking Africa's sustainable economic development, which is why it's important for us to empower you. Without further ado, I'm just going to ask our speakers to just say something, just to greet you and tell us what they are expecting from this conversation. Verity, let me start with you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so lovely to be here. And I'm so excited to be with women who are taking their businesses and their ideas to the next level. So my job today is to empower you with tips and techniques and tools for finding your voice and presenting your ideas with power. And I'm really excited to help you.
We are very excited. Thank you for that, Verity. And as I said, presenting with power. So if after she's spoken, you don't feel like you're ready to present with power, please let us know so that we can just get rid of her for the next program. Just kidding. Busi Selesho, please tell us what are you, greet our attendees and let us know what you are expecting from today's session.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Bawala and Verity. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm so blessed to be with you here. So, of course, I am here to make sure that you guys get the money into your bank accounts, because remember, if you've got the money, then you can make a difference, because you've got an amazing idea, you've got an amazing goal that you want to achieve, but then it's going to need some resources. So how do you get the resources? Where do you get the resources? So that's what I will be sharing, the do's and don'ts. And once you have the money, how to make sure that it doesn't leave you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Busi. I'm just going to start with by saying that, the reason for this session, it's we respect you all for being innovators and for being entrepreneurs and for taking the bold. Entrepreneurs are risk takers. So we definitely admire your courage for the risk that you've taken in even starting your business. Sometimes that the difference between a very good idea and realizing it is just a matter of being able to pitch it and to pitch it perfectly, with the kind of sass and finesse and the confidence that investors buy into. I'm going to give you an example of, it's not part of this conversation, but something that you will be able to, might find useful to show you how dangerous it can be to misrepresent a pitch, your business, how dangerous it can be to not deliver the perfect pitch. There's a video on YouTube about Will Smith where they asked him why did he choose between Wild Wild West and The Matrix. That was the time. So he basically got an offer to do The Matrix and he got an offer to do Wild Wild West. And obviously we all know that Wild Wild West was almost like a career damaging decision for Will Smith, and The Matrix would have been by far a far better choice. And Will said that it was the way it was pitched. You can check me on this afterwards. It's on YouTube. It's a 4-minute video. He says it was the way the script was pitched to him. He says the guy that pitched the Matrix to him said the tables will be floating around, the cup will be in the air and so forth. And that's why he decided to go with the Wild Wild West. So we're here to make sure that you've got your perfect pitch, you know how to present with power, and you know how to deliver your message and not regret walking away with a perfect idea at the end of the day, but without the buyers, the investors buy in. We will start with Busi. Busi, we'll start with you. Please take it off. Alex, is there any way that we can get Busi alone on the stage? All right. Verity, you can switch your camera off. I will do the same from my side. Can you zoom into Busi?
So
Busi, you are ready to go. You can take off.
Thank you so much. So as Babala has said, we are going to look at a few case studies of what goes wrong when we ask him for money, and also look at a few things that you should think of very carefully before asking for money. So as Babala had said, at one point in my own journey as an entrepreneur, I found myself in 40 million rand debt. That is 40. So I got there because I had actually started, small. And as I was going along, I always had this great idea that I am going to make sure that I build a legacy for myself and my kids. And as I was starting out, I noticed that I'm going to need money. I am going to need investments. I am going to need to find somebody who can make sure that this dream comes true. So of course, I started, with a property business, and in property, you definitely need income or capital that can make sure that you are able to have that business running all the time, because property is one of those businesses where there's a lot of money that you need to buy in and renovate properties and sell them. So I started there. But as I was starting there, I noticed that finding investments was not the easiest things. It had to be something you think very carefully about, and it has to be something that you really engage yourself as an entrepreneur. It's not just about making a sale, but it's more about a person believing that this business is something that can make them money, which then brings us to the first thing. The first thing that an investor is looking for is for their money to grow. So a lot of entrepreneurs, when they go out looking for money, they are thinking about themselves. Oh my goodness, there's can everybody hear me? I think a lot of people are saying they can't hear. I hope, Babala, you can hear me on your side.
Musi, I can hear you from my side. Let's just 1 second. Our audience is much more important than us. So let's find out if there's an issue. Just 1 second, Musi. Who couldn't hear?
Oh, no, I think a lot of people can hear now.
All right, perfect. Okay, take it off, Musi.
Okay, so first thing, when you are going into that place where they said they might have an opportunity for you, they might invest in your business, you need to understand them. You need to understand what is their goal. You do not want to make this pitching about yourself. You don't want to get to them and just try to say, this is what I want. This is what I want from you. This is what I want from you. If you're doing it that way, nobody cares of what you want. Nobody cares about your goal. Nobody cares of how your business idea is so amazing. Nobody cares about what you want to achieve, your legacy, and all these things that are important to you. Nobody cares about that. That person that is sitting there is having their 5 million, is having their 10 million, is having their 3 million that they've saved up, that they've made from other businesses, and thinking about their 3 million, that, you know what, if my 3 million can give me another 2 million or another 5 million in 10 years or in 5 years, I will be happy. That's all they are thinking about. They don't care about anything else other than their money being multiplied. So when you get there, focus on making sure that you give them the reason of growing their money. So in case of where now you're going to be talking to a wide variety of investors. So at that point, you're not going to be having a one-on-one relationship with an investor where you know exactly where they are, what are their interests in life. But in terms of when you're going to one investor that you know for sure that this person is willing to invest, but they want to know if you are the right person to invest with, that is where you will say to them, I need 2 million in this business. This business at this point, it needs 2 million. And when you're saying the amount that you need, don't make a mistake of asking for little money. When you have 2 million rand and somebody says they need your 2 million rand to make 4 million rand, when they are asking you for something impossible, you know. So when you go to this investor, make sure that you actually buff it up. If you need 2 million, make it a little bit more, because the worst thing that can happen is that you take their 2 million, you try to implement this goal or this project, and this 2 million is not enough. You have broken a lot, because now you're going to lose the 2 million, but then you're going to lose their trust, and you've made a mess out of all of this. You want to ask for a little bit more so that you make sure for sure you do not have a room for error that this money you will get back. Because remember, you have got the goal, you've got the dream, you've got the skills, but now you need the resource. So when you're asking for the resource, don't ask little. Do not ask for what is not going to able to make this goal come true at the right time, at the right in return, so that they can get their money. So when you get to them, you say this business needs 2 million. And the one important thing is, if you give me 2 million, it's going to take me 3 months to make it 5 million. It's going to take me 2 years to make it 7 million. It's going to that is what the investor wants to know. That is the first line you want to say. You want to say, I want 2 million. I am going to use it in 5 years, and it's going to give you 20 million. Now you got me interested. If you're telling me how much you need and how long it's going to take you to make me the money I need, then I'm happy with you. So then we can start to talk about the details then. What do you know? What is the market looking like? Then I will start to ask you all these details. But if you are not telling me what I am here for, which is making money, and you want to tell me more about how you're going to make this dream of yours come true, it's not going to work. So number one, make sure that you start with my needs as an investor. If you are talking to one investor, if you are talking to a panel of investors, I need this much, it's going to make me this much in this long. Then I am happy. So once that is done, you want then to show me that you are the right person to run this business. So we've all have heard that people do not put money into it. So you wanna invest in the jockey that is riding the horse. The jockey is the one that makes sure that the horse wins. So I want to know that what kind of a person are you? What kind of a jockey are you? Can you be able to handle this horse that you're saying is going to win? So now at that point, it's where you want to tell these people, who are you? So this is one of the important parts where you want to be very almost vulnerable to your investor now, because at this point they want to know, if this person is losing, can they get up? If this person is there are challenges, can they handle challenges? Because
you see, so
yes,
sorry to interrupt you. There's a couple of our attendees that can't hear. Do you mind just pausing for a few minutes just for us to sort it out, please?
All right.
All right. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Good afternoon, everybody. Some people can hear and others can't hear and see. It might be from your side, guys, because everybody else can hear. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, for those that can't hear, Lerato, can you please fix things on your side, perhaps, please? We'll see. Yes, sorry for interrupting you. We'll see. Some of them couldn't hear you, but the rest can hear you. Sorry about that, Busi.
Okay.
Yes, you can continue, Busi.
Okay, so as I was saying, the next thing is to make sure that for the investor is to make sure that you are the correct jockey to run this horse to the winning line. So you want to then let the investor know who you are, why you. They are not really worried about the business. Any business can work, but only a few people can make a certain business work. So one of the things that investors want to know is, do you have passion for this? And you have to prove your passion to them. Why are you passionate? You want to do catering. You want to go into the food industry. You want to go into the beauty industry. Why you? Why beauty? What makes beauty important to you? Because if you've got passion, if this is your purpose, if this is your calling, then I know that my money is safe. You're going to fight for this. You're not just doing this because you heard they said this thing makes money. So you have to prove to me that you are the right person to be doing this kind of business. Still, the investor there is not caring about what the business is. Now the investor is wanting to get security on their money, that if this person takes this, they will not tomorrow tell me, oh no, now I'm tired, this is too hard on me, I can't do this anymore, the money is gone, I'm sorry, we can't continue with this. The investor wants to know, can you hold on to it? So this is where also your past experiences come through very powerfully. So for me, every time when I had lost in business and I'd gone to ask for more money, remember when I got to 40 million, I had asked for too much money, and I kept getting from 1 million to 40. I kept going and asking for more. But what I will do is that I will bring my past experience, and don't be scared of telling the potential investor what are your losses, where have you lost, where have you won? Because when you tell them that your weaknesses and your strengths, they see, oh, this person actually has gone through this already. So if they've already lost this, then they know how not to lose, and they've learned the lesson. Now they are safer. So you're giving them almost your CV of where you've won, where did you lose, and where you lost, what was the issue, and what did you get? What did you learn from that? So then once you've clarified that you have a passion for this is you doing your calling, something that you really, really understand. And then now you also have life experiences that you have learned, that where you have failed, where you have won, you understand certain things about this kind of business, this industry, using money, understanding how business run. Then the investor is starting to say, okay, this makes sense. Then, of course, the third thing is to show me then how you're going to be different from everybody else. Everybody else is doing catering. How is your catering going to be different from everybody? How you're doing beauty industry? How is your beauty industry going to be different from everybody else? I mean, one of the case studies that I can give you is a client of mine that was also in the food industry. So she had a catering company. She was catering. She wanted to cater for conferences. So conferences like this one, luckily today we get to do them online. But in those days before COVID, we will go to a conference and I will be talking to you guys. You will be sitting there. You would have had lunch. That lady would have catered for you. So, but what was happening was that her product, her food was different from the rest of the food. She was making food that has abilities to make people not fall asleep. So the ingredients she was using, the way she was preparing the food, it will help people to be more alert, to be more awake. When you sometimes eat conference food, you come back, you want to sleep, and then maybe you gain weight, maybe all this. So she had these menus that were set up for you to feel lighter, to have more energy. She had done a lot of studies in finding out what kind of food a person should eat at what kind and at what time for what setup. So she had that as a very specialized area. And when I said to her, the reason why when you're preaching to clients and wanting them just to buy, simple quote, they're saying you're too high because they don't understand. You haven't told them how different is what you're giving them. And you should never talk to them just about, oh, the food is nice. Of course, all food is nice. But you should talk to them from their point of from the things that are so important to them. I said to them, if you go to a conference organizer and you say to them, these people are going to come to your conference, but the food, the way I'm going to do things here, these people are going to come back next year and book this conference, and it will be fully booked because of how the food is going to be. They will remember this conference. One of the things that they will remember this conference about is the food you just provided them. And I'm going to make sure that even when I am putting up the food outside, I'm going to give them some sort of this dish does this dish does this. By the time the person is eating it, they know what this dish is about. So the conference organizers were like, okay, this makes sense. Then my conference is fully booked next year season of conferences, because people are remembering that that conference was the one with the nicest food, was the one with the food that we actually enjoy, and the food that made us actually feel so much better. We want that again. So then she was now fully booked from clients, because they were no longer worried about her price. They were no longer worried about just choosing anybody. She came with something special. She came with something that the market didn't have. So the third thing then is for you to show the investor that you have something special. So how you make it special is where, if it's your calling, if it's your passion, if it's something that you dream about all the time, you will find something that is special about it. But if you're going to just tell them, oh no, I just cut hair, and everybody else cuts hair, why should we look at you? How it's either how you do it, it's either what is the effect after the cut or whatever, but you must find something that is making it special. So once you have these three things in your pitch, when you're pitching to an investor, there is no way, if that investor does have the money or the investor is interested in the industry you're in, that they wouldn't then start to say to you, okay, bring in the books. Let me see your business plan. Let me see what your operations, your day-to-day, how you're going to make this happen. Let me talk to you a little bit more. But first of all, you have to tell them, what is it you're going to make them? How much of their money is going to grow, and at what pace? How much are you going to be able to make out of this money? So then they know for sure you're going to make the money. Number two, are you the right jockey to be riding this horse? Do you have a passion for this thing? What is special about you doing this that is going to make this work? Can you stand the test of times? And number three, what is the thing that is special about what you want me to invest in? So you want to do that. Things that you don't want to do is to feel that you are begging the investor for money. Everybody that feels like somebody wants something from them, they run away from those people. All of us, if there's somebody, it can be online, it can be wherever, if we feel like somebody wants something from us, we so much already wants to deassociate ourselves, because everybody who wants something from you, you feel like they are taking from you. So nobody wants somebody who is coming to take from them. So at all times, you want to know that you adding value to the investor, not the other way around, that you begging the investor for their money. Oh, precious investor, can you just look at me? Can you just choose me? No, you are not the one who wants to be chosen. You are the one who wants to choose an investor. You are the one who is in a position of power. This investor will sit with their 2 million rand, and their 2 million rand will actually lose a power because inflation is there if you don't take it and make it more money. Everybody that has money, we all worry about our money and inflation, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, my money is sitting there, but every year it's losing value because it's sitting there. I don't want to sit with money. Every time I've got money, I want somewhere to put it. I want a place to invest it, because I don't want to sit with that money, because I am losing value if I'm sitting with it. And we all know banks can keep your money, but they can't really give you the amazing return on it. So you want to put it somewhere. So you are adding way more value than you will ever think to the investor. So your mentality when you're asking the investor for money, it shouldn't be of you begging. It should be of you saying, hey, I am adding value to you. I know how much you need me right now, and I am there to make sure that I'm going to work myself off to death, making sure that you gain money out of your money. So number one thing, do not think that they are making you a favor. You are making them a favor. And you need to understand that very fully, that if they're giving you the money, they are saying to you, go and make us magic. And you are ready to be making them magic. So number one, don't be desperate. do not think that it's about you begging them. It's about them making sure that they make more money. So you are the person that can make that money for them. Number two, you don't want to, like I said earlier on, ask for less. So if you can be able to ask for one project, ask from 3 different investors, different monies, and be sure that you're going to get that, it's okay. But try to ask for enough. If you are not asking for enough money, you are going to mess up your brand in the industry. You're going to mess up your reputation, because you're going to ask for less and not be able to deliver what you said, and then mess up the whole thing. So what you don't want to do is ask little. So ask for more so that you can over deliver. But if you are not sure that this money is enough for the project, don't even start it with half the money. Don't even start it, because you might just lose what you have for nothing. So it's so critical for you to make sure that you do your calculations correct, and at all times try to add a little bit more, just so that you are safe, you are on the safe side. Okay. So number 3, do your research. Most of the times you have an amazing idea. You know that this is an idea, I dreamt of it. My great-great-grandfather came to a dream and said, this is going to work. And it's good. It's a great idea. But you have to make sure that you do your research of where the idea has worked, where the idea hasn't worked. People who have made the idea work, people who have failed from the idea. And look at all angles before you commit. Because when you commit, you want to commit from a place of being educated, a place of understanding what is going on around the industry, around the idea. So in your SWOT analysis, in your business plan, you must know what is the worst case scenario. So if you are studying a BNB and the worst case scenario is that maybe there's talk of COVID in 3 years' time, you see that is a threat to your idea. So how would you mitigate that? We are not saying take the threats and make them a stumbling block to say, oh no, I'm no longer going to do my idea. No. Threats, when you understand your threats, you can then mitigate them. So come with all understanding of, if things do go wrong, they can go wrong here. Maybe the law can say no more traveling all over the world. Then we won't have clients. But then because of that, we will shift this way, and we will continue making money this way, and we will continue doing this. So always understand the worst case scenario and have a mitigation for it. Do not stop because that exists. Because what if it doesn't what if it doesn't happen? Because those are threats. It's not something that is real. But if it does go wrong, whatever that goes wrong, do you have a plan to mitigate? An investor wants to know if you can mitigate problems. An investor does not care about problems. Most people who will give you that kind of money, they are willing to take risks as long as you tell them how you're going to mitigate that risk. So show them in your presentation that you know. Don't just talk about the good stuff only. Talk about the bad stuff also, and show them you are well aware of what could go wrong, and you are well equipped of things that can go wrong. Don't be scared of going there, because then you're giving them more confidence in what you can do. So important things that you should look out for when you are doing this. Most of all, you are the one that once you have been given the money, you will have to make this project work. It's not just about the excitement of, oh, I'm going around looking for money. I'm going around looking for money. Truly speaking, be very honest with yourself. Am I ready to do this? Because if you are not ready to do this, the thing about our mind, our subconscious mind is that it protects us from things that we're not ready for. And when you have a doubt or a fear of some kind of not being sure, you project that energy out. Number one, when you project that energy out, people feel it. So they will be like, oh, this lady, she's got an amazing idea, but there's just something. They get that feeling that maybe there's just something else. So make sure that with yourself, you have come to an honest place of you being ready to do this. If you're still feeling fear, you're still feeling doubt, you better sit down and work your energy out. If you failed in the past, do healing. If you have doubts about who you are and the things that are happening in your life, do fix those things. Because the moment you have not worked on yourself, you're going to, once maybe the investor gives you the money, you're going to self-sabotage. You're going to put yourself in a situation where you are not able to do what you said you will do, because you have your own doubts, you've got your own fears. So make sure that you have sat down with yourself and you have removed all the fear. You are now feeling yourself in a powerful position that I can get this done. I am just, the only thing I'm just now waiting for is the money. And when you are in that position anyway, what happens is that your subconscious mind starts to attract exactly the right people who have the money, because now you are ready. But when you are pushing this part of asking for money and starting the project while you haven't fixed your own doubts and fears and all this, you are setting up yourself for failure. Because one thing is that you might continue asking for money and nobody saying yes, or you get the yes, but then when the project starts, everything falls apart, which then now puts you into more troubles. So these are a few of the things that you should think of as an entrepreneur. Make sure that you understand them well. And finding money, I promise you as an entrepreneur, finding money for your project is the easiest thing. Everybody is at this 2022. Everybody is looking for an entrepreneur. Everybody that has got money is looking for an entrepreneur that they can grow their money. So you are actually, there's very less entrepreneurs that are ready, that are powerful enough and are willing and are ready emotionally, spiritually, physically to do these things. So you are at the right time of getting investors. It could be local investors, it could be international investors. There is so much that is needed from entrepreneurs. So as long as you're in the right mindset and you are ready to do this and you understand what you're doing, you can make it happen. Babalo, I hope I did not finish all my time.
Wow, Busi, we're thinking we could listen to you the whole day. That was incredible. And I hope you could see the chats and the great remarks from everybody. One thing I do want to, before I comment, that I do want you to address, though, we got a comment from Audrey Williams. And Audrey is saying, finding money might be easy. I also got very excited when you said that. But she says, but unless you are in manufacturing, do you perhaps want to address that? Do you feel the same way?
Okay. So, normally, Babalo and Audrey, what normally happens in the manufacturing space is that investors want to see what you have done. So it's more like, yeah, you want to manufacture this amazing, if it's not a t-shirt that people know how it works, it's something amazing that we haven't seen and you want to manufacture it, but then we don't know if people will like what you have, but we also haven't seen what you've done. So if you're in the manufacturing space, it is good for you to try to start with whatever you can, but just have something that you can show that I have already started doing this. So this manufacturing is one of those businesses where we normally say, start a simple business that can give you money. So in terms of you starting a simple business where you are doing a car wash, you don't need money to start a car wash. You do a car wash, you raise money enough to be able to start manufacturing few of the things you want to manufacture. And then when you have started to manufacture a few of the things you wanted to manufacture, then you can go and ask for funding, which is another point. When also to ask for funding is very critical. Sometimes you don't want to ask for funding too early because then you don't show enough value. So sometimes in funding, you ask for funding and you are saying to the investor, I'm going to give you percentage in the business. And they might take way more percentage because you are not at the place where you show them how much value you've got. So what I've seen, a lot of clients that I've worked with in the manufacturing space is that you can make a pitch that can blow them out of their mind. I mean, you can. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying the easier way might be for you to already start something and show them that you've already done this much. But of course, I mean, Babala, I've gotten to 40 million rand and I raised it all off by myself. You can make any pitch as long as you believe in what you're doing. You can. It's not.
Yeah, I think you actually addressed it by saying that, and maybe Audrey is talking about probably finding the funding before you even manufacture anything. Whereas you're saying that you're probably agreeing that perhaps it might be difficult in that way because you need to show the product first, and that perhaps might be difficult for most entrepreneurs finding even the money to manufacture the first two items. You know what I mean?
But when you're an entrepreneur, that is why, Audrey, find something that can raise you money so that you can do this big goal.
Okay, I think you're both in agreement there. Yes, thank you so much, Busi. Busi, we will bring you on again. You can, thank you so much. It was incredible. You know, one of the things that you mentioned, which is, it reminds me of Vusi Tembekwayo. You know, that is what Vusi said. Vusi said that Ukuti, you have to make numbers your most entrepreneurs hate numbers and hate talking about numbers. And the one thing that stood out for me is that you have to be very clear about how to arrive at value for your business, and not think people that will buy into your dream. They're not interested in buying in your dream, but they're interested in how you can help them arrive at where they need to arrive at as investors. That was a great point. And I love the fact that you mentioned as well the jockey. You know, are you the jockey or the perfect jockey for the horse that you are riding? You know, and I think that is probably sometimes most of the mistake that we make. We just come up with businesses and just grab a business in the air, you know, and start doing something that you are not even passionate about. And like you said, if you are passionate, then you will definitely find that unique selling proposition, so to speak, in terms of a product or service. Thank you so much, Busi. We will bring you, we can go over to Verity now. Busi, don't leave us, because we're going to bring on board our attendees on the screen at the end of the conversation, and then we will ask you to answer a couple of questions directly from them. Thank you so much, everybody, for your activity. This room is really, it's a hot room. It's a hot room. It feels like carte blanche, or it feels like the lion's den, the pitching den already. We have 170 attendees. We've only actually sent out invites, I think, to about 100. So I don't know if the aunts and uncles or the word maybe just spread so much. But thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We promise to make it worth your while, and you will get to ask your own question at the end of the session. Verity, over to you.
Thank you so much, Babawa and Busi. Wow, thank you. If the chat is anything to go by, you have touched lives, you've ignited minds. There is passion and purpose in this room right now. So thank you so much. And maybe on that note, yes.
Sorry, Verity, I don't want to interrupt you once you've started. Busi, do you mind switching off your camera there? I'll also switch off mine, and then Verity will take over. Okay, Verity, we're leaving you alone on that stage. Don't be afraid. Teach us how to present with power.
Thank you, Babawa. Thank you so much. So my question to all of you right now is, would you like to present with the same passion, purpose, and power that Busi just did? So just put it in the chat. If you would like, every time you stood up to present or pitch, would you like to bring what Busi just brought to all of us? I see it coming in. There's a yes coming in. People really do. Okay, beautiful. That is good. Then you're in the right place. Next question. When you do have to present, when you do have to do that high stakes presentation or that really important pitch that's coming up, do you sometimes feel nervous? Do your hands start sweating, your throat closes up, your mouth gets dry, your right leg discovers it can do an Elvis Presley impersonation that you don't want to be doing right then? Okay, 100% people are going blank. Noisier is a reality for sure. The throat shrinks. Okay. I hope this makes you realize you're not alone. Look at this. We all feel this. Our voice vibrates. So many of us really struggle from nerves when it comes to speaking, and most importantly, when we're pitching an idea that really matters. Now, there's quite an interesting bit of study that has been done on this. They did research a few years ago to see what were the top 10 things people were most afraid of. And this was anything from spiders to heights to the dark to Donald Trump. You choose what you're afraid of. They asked people to say, what are you afraid of? The number one thing people were most afraid of was speaking in public. Number 2 was dying. So I want you to let that sink in. People were more afraid of speaking in public than they were of dying, which means if you go to a funeral, the person giving the eulogy would rather be in the coffin. Okay, so that's pretty crazy if you think about it, given that we are born to communicate. Our lives are about communicating. We have to communicate, and children are not afraid of communicating. So why are we so afraid? Now, most people will say, I'm afraid of public speaking. A good friend of mine, Mark Brown, says, no, you're probably afraid of public judgment, public failure, public humiliation. And I'm sure that's resonating for all of us. So why is it? And I want to just go a little bit into the biology of the fear, because it might help you understand and it might help you manage it. So there's a couple of things. One is when you're speaking, you're probably speaking about something that matters, which means you care, and you get that thing where suddenly it feels like all the blood's rushed out of your stomach and it's rushing around your body, and you get that turning stomach. What your body's doing is it's preparing you for action. So it's not trying to make you nervous, it's trying to make you ready. So if you start looking at nerves slightly differently, that can help. The other thing is a lot of us might have this experience when just before you're about to speak, you suddenly need to go to the toilet, and you know what I'm talking about. So again, yes, that feels like nerves, but what your body's doing is it's actually trying to help you lose weight so that you can run and do what you need to do. Because in the real world, out in nature, you might need to move your body. So it's trying to help you. So maybe see the nerves as, oh, my body really cares about me doing well right now. So that's the one mindset that you can bring to the nerves. The other is to understand biologically why you might be afraid of speaking. And the answer to this lies in nature. If we had to go into the bush right now, so let's say we went to the Kruger National Park, we would see that in nature, there are predators, animals that hunt, and there are prey, animals that are hunted and eaten. Now, predators, your lions, your leopards, your tigers, sharks, we can go through a few of them. The one defining factor between them and prey is that their eyes face forward because they're hunting, they're looking for lunch. Prey, your zebras, your cows, your gazelle, they don't want to be eaten. So their eyes are on the side of their head and they're kind of looking around, making sure no one's going to eat them. Okay, so that's like one of the big differences between predator and prey. So now I want you to tell me, when you stand up to speak in front of an audience, what direction do their eyes face? Forward or sideways? So let's see. Which way do human beings' eyes face? Are they forward facing? I see Audrey coming in forward. They're not on the side. So that means your brain, when you stand up to speak, goes, oh, I'm lunch. Okay, it's a very real feeling. And I always say to people, if you're about to do a big pitch and I asked you to present it to a herd of cows, would you be nervous? No. Of course you wouldn't, because they're not going to eat you. All right. So our job when we're presenting, when we're speaking one-on-one in the boardroom, in the pitching den, is to find the warm eyes, find those people that are smiling, find the people that are nodding. And that helps to tell your brain, I'm not lunch, I'm safe. My body is like this because it's trying to help me. It wants me to do well. So let's just bear that in mind. And that leads us into confidence, because ultimately, and this is what Bussy was saying, if you believe in you, if you're backing yourself, if you bring that self-esteem and that energy to your presentation, that confidence is going to carry you so far. So I want to give you a few tips and tricks to help with confidence the next time you're pitching or presenting that you can bear in mind. Number one thing to help you build confidence: practice. Practice your presentation. Film it, watch it back, do it again. Practice it in a big room, practice it in a small room, practice it while you're driving, but practice your presentation. Please don't just work on your PowerPoint And then if that fails, like today, I was going to use slides and it's a bit tricky on this system, I can leave that because I've practiced. I know what I want to say to you today. I'm not relying on my slides to do the work for me. You are the star of the pitch, not your slides. So you need to be able to deliver with or without your technical presentation. So bear that in mind. So practice, get comfortable. Number 2, get comfortable with the space or the room that you're presenting in. If it's online, practice on the platform you're going to present on before time. Don't arrive a minute before and then suddenly realize we've had today, we can't hear. What if it's not working? That's going to throw your nerves. So practice before time, arrive early, give yourself time to be ready. Okay, and that also calms the nerves. 3rd, breathe out more than you breathe in. I'm going to say that again. Breathe out more than you breathe in. Our breathing signals to our brain, it signals to our body if we're in danger or not. When we're in danger, we hold our breath. When we're safe, we breathe out. So if you breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8. And really do that before high-stakes presentations. It tells your body, I've got this. I've worked hard. I deserve to be here. And adding on to that, one of my favorite tricks and tips, if you are familiar with Amy Cuddy's world-famous TED Talk on body language, you will already know about striking a power pose. And if you don't know about it, I'm teaching you now. You find your Wonder Woman pose, whatever that is, arms on hips, Superman, you can choose what your superhero is, but go find a space where you can open your body up and you can just embrace that I've got this. Again, when we're nervous, we shut ourselves down to protect our vital organs. That's telling me I'm not going to do well. This is telling me I'm going to be fine. And if you're in a room where it would look strange that you started doing this, just make sure you're sitting back, chest out, breathing well, and just a little smile, legs uncrossed, open your body up. So you find the pose that works for you, but that is going to build your confidence. Okay, so that's how we build confidence. And I know about that because, yes, I'm the world champion of public speaking, but I used to be terrified of speaking in public. I was so scared of being on stage and being judged when I was 17 that if I had to read the Bible in assembly, I bunked. In fact, the one time I was pretending that I had a fever and my mom was like, hang on, something's going on here. Why is she pretending she's sick every time it's a Monday and there's assembly? So she said to me, I'm going to take your temperature. And if you've really got a temperature, then you don't have to go to school. Now, I don't know about you, but it's quite tricky to fake a temperature. And she stuck that old school thermometer in my mouth. And I was lying in bed. My heart was pumping, thinking, I'm going to have to go to school and read the Bible. How am I going to fake a temperature? And I looked over on my table and there was a cup of warm tea, my morning tea. And I did the only thing that made sense. I put the thermometer in the tea. So when my mom came back and the thermometer was in my mouth, she pulled it out and looked at it. And then she looked at me and she said, Verity, according to this, you've been dead a week. I got packed off to school. I had to face my fear and I was terrified of public speaking. The only reason I'm a speaker now is I started songwriting at university very unexpectedly. I lost my father when I was 24 and thought, my word, life is short. Why am I not communicating? Why am I not sharing my message? Why am I letting fear hold me back, put a ceiling on my capabilities? And I started working on my demos. I worked with a coach who taught me how to get comfortable with things going wrong. And every time I stood up and every time I got a little bit more confident, I discovered that confidence is a muscle. It's a muscle you build, but you build it by standing up and speaking. So this is why I'm giving you little tips and tricks. I know they work because they help me overcome my fear of speaking. So let's get into the types of presentations we can give. And how do you create a pitch that really lands with the power that Bussi's just been sharing with us and makes your investors go, you are the person I believe in. So I want you to imagine that when it comes to structuring a speech, for me, a great speech is a hamburger. Now, that's going to sound strange, but I just want you to imagine for a moment a nice looking hamburger. It's got this toasty bun. It's got some sesame seeds on it. You're like, I just want to bite in there. It's got the perfect patty, whatever your dietary requirement is. It's the perfect patty for you. 1 or 2 bits of garnish, a little bit of sauce, and then a really nice toasted bun at the bottom. So I'm sure you can see that hamburger. That for me is a perfect presentation. It's got an introduction, which is the top bun. It's got the meat of what you're saying with a bit of garnish, your stories, your body language, your energy. And then underneath, you've got your conclusion, which is your call to action. And if you think about it, that bun was once the same thing. Someone's cut it in half. They put the hamburger in the middle. So for me, a great conclusion ties back to your introduction in some way. Okay, so think of it like that. That's what a great presentation or pitch looks like. What most presentations and pitches often look like are those very interesting looking American style hamburgers with 9 patties, so much garnish that it's falling out the side. If you try and bite that thing, it's going to go all over you. You're going to get indigestion. You know the hamburgers I'm talking about, and you've probably sat through a few presentations where you're like, wow, how much information is this person trying to shove into me to make me to remember? I just want to walk away with one clear thing that I know what to do. Okay. So that is your job as a presenter. How do I make it simple, tasty, engaging, making them want to lean in, versus how am I trying to shove all my information at them and they remember nothing? Okay, that is our job. Now, when it comes to presenting, when it comes to giving a winning presentation and a winning pitch, there are 3 things that impact your audience. And there are 3 things that determine how much your audience is going to remember and how much they're going to walk away with. 20% of what impacts your audience, and in this case, the judges and the investors, is the mechanics of your pitch and your speech. So the way you've written it, the way you've structured it, some of the tips I'm going to be teaching you today is only 20% of what they're going to remember. You still got to work on that 20%, but it's only 20%. 30% of what impacts them, of what they're going to remember and what's going to influence what they do is your message. Have you got a clear message, a clear value add that they're going to remember? 50% of what impacts them is your life force. And Bussy, you showed us life force today, and you could see why the chat exploding. Life force matters. So your life force is what they will remember. Your passion, the fact that you are invested in what you're talking about, even if you're talking about it badly, even if English isn't your first language, even if your slides aren't brilliant, if that life force is palpable, that will win over an audience. Okay, you want the 20% of the structure, you want that powerful message, but you need to be passionate about it. Okay, so bear that in mind. And if when you're practicing your pitch, you're not feeling that energy, you're going to have to change the way you've written it. You're going to have to make it more personal. You're going to have to put the passion in. All right. So let's look at what that hamburger looks like. If I had to give you a formula or a structure for structuring your pitch to make it that bite size, easy to remember, delicious, people want to come back for more. A lot like that caterer. They're back the next year saying, I want another one of those. Your introduction, the bun, okay, that is your opportunity to grab the audience's attention. You've got 30 seconds to do that. And in those 30 seconds, you have to give them a reason to care. Bussy spoke about this. What's in it for them? So you have to give them a reason to care. So they're like, oh, wow, that is interesting. Now I'm listening. And just after you've given them a reason to care, you need to give them a reason to believe. Now, this is an amazing format to use. Rich Mulholland, if you're familiar with him, this is his incredible structure. And I want you to think about this because it's going to help you with preparing your pitches. Give them a reason to care, and I'll go into that a bit more, and then give them a reason to believe. Why should they believe you? Can you, in one sentence, say, in the 10 years that I've been working in this market, or, you know, since I've done this, I've noticed this, can you show them very quickly that you are the person who knows what you're talking about and they should listen to you? So give them a reason to care, give them a reason to believe, and then the meat, kind of the patty and the points that you're making, that's where you tell them what they need to know. That's where you unpack, this is the solution, this is the idea, these are the problems we've identified, this is how we're going to solve it. But you want to keep it simple. short sentences, easy to follow scenarios and ideas, stories, so that they can visualize what you're saying and take them through what they need to know, because that's the body of your presentation and your pitch. And right at the end, your conclusion is your call to action. What do they need to do? What are you looking from them? And often we're afraid to ask for it. You know, in a pitch, the whole reason is to say, this is what I need you to do. I need you to sign on the dotted line. Okay. And that's the call to action. So that's a nice formula for starting with an attention grabbing introduction. Grab their attention, make them care, give them a reason to believe in you. Then go into an easy to follow body where you tell them what they need to know and you've thought about what matters to them. And then at the end, a powerful call to action, a conclusion that ties it all together. And if you're good at what you're doing, tie it back to how you started. Now they really understand why they should care and why they should continue the journey with you. Okay, so that's making it into a hamburger and making sure you give them something that is valuable. Adding on to that, this idea of giving, can I just get a sense from the chat, who here enjoys giving and receiving gifts? Who likes getting gifts? Could be for your birthday, for Christmas, for Valentine's Day. It's my anniversary today. Hopefully my husband's got a nice gift for me. Okay, we all like getting gifts. Beautiful. So I want you to think about this. A speech, a pitch, a presentation is a gift that you are giving to the audience. You know, your business idea that you're pitching is a gift that you're offering to an investor to see if they want to take it home. And we call it presenting skills. It's got the word present in it. It makes a lot of sense now. But when you approach writing a pitch or a presentation with the intention to give a gift to your audience, they are going to probably want to receive it. You've got some choices in how you wrap your gift. You could wrap it like this. Go, here you go. Happy birthday. I doubt you're very inspired right now. You could take all the fun out of it. And you could wrap it like this, which is, they don't even need to bother unwrapping it because you've told them what's already in it. So really, why bother? Or you could wrap it like this. Okay. So if you had to choose right now, if I was there with you and you were saying, which gift do you want? Do you want the bag or the box? Just let me know in the chat. Which one do you want, the bag or the box? Bag or the box? Red box, 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 box. The box is a winner. Why is the box a winner? What is it about this box that has got your attention? Let's hear. With the presentation, it's attractive. The presentation presented well. It looks better. It's wrapped well. Looks bigger. It's appealing, enticing. Okay, it's all coming. The color looks beautiful, intriguing, beautiful. The mystery. Okay, you are nailing it. This is why it matters how you present yourself. The minute you walk into the room or come on the screen, is your space clear? Do you look professional? Are you showing that you made an effort? Because people already are like, wow. But the next piece is that, is it enticing? And that's the introduction. You've got to give them a reason to care by making them curious. A lot of people want what's in the box because they're intrigued. There's mystery. And if you can make an audience curious and going, oh, you know, and sitting and leaning in, that means you've now got their attention. And their attention is the gold that you're looking for. So I was loving the story, Bussy, you were sharing about the lady with the catering business, because I could see right there at the start of a pitch would be, would you like a way to guarantee that everyone wants to be at your conference next year? Now, there's a connection point there that they're going to go, yes, hell, I absolutely want that. And there's the curiosity of like, well, how do I do that? So that's an example of how you could start a pitch with an opening, attention-grabbing question that creates curiosity in the listener's mind and is speaking directly to something they want. Again, it's not about you, it's about the audience. So look for ways to create curiosity. Maybe in the way you're setting up your offering, you want to build curiosity by really elevating the tension and then showing the solution. But if your audience is curious, they're listening. And if they're listening, you might get that yes you're looking for. So there are kind of three things that I want to talk about here that we want to be creating in our audience. So the first one is curiosity, and curiosity is so powerful. So make them curious The second thing you have to create in your audience is connection. If they don't feel connected to you and to the situation or the story or the scenario you're talking about, you've lost them. They're going to shake their heads, and you just have to watch a few Shark Tanks. You can not interested, doesn't make sense. So how do we create connection? Well, we talk about things that everyone wants, common pains, common frustrations, common desires. So if you're talking about, having a brighter future in South Africa where everyone is educated, I promise you there's very few people that are going to be going, nah, I don't want that. Or talking about how to make tax returns easier to do, or having more money at the end of each month, you're going to have people that are connected. So if your offering or your product is meeting one of those needs, you need to make sure that early in your presentation, you create a connection point by talking about an everyday scenario. People are like, oh, I hate that when that happens in traffic, or, oh, I know exactly what that's like when I'm in a meeting. So make sure you create a connection where they can see themselves in your story, in your situation, in your solution. Okay, so curiosity and connection, we have to create that. Even in a 3-minute pitch, you can create that in the first minute really easily. If you create those two things, you're going to get the third thing you're looking for, which is commitment. What do we want ultimately at the end of a presentation or a pitch? We want them to commit to take home our idea, say yes, get involved, do the next step. But with curiosity and connection, you're going to get that commitment. In the time I've got left, what I'm going to do quickly is unpack or unwrap, let's say, how you turn your pitch into a gift. Okay. And to make it easy, I'm going to use the word gift. So all you're ever going to have to remember the next time you're working on your pitch, or for the pitches for Pitching Den, is GIFT. Okay. So the G stands for get clear on your message. That can be get clear on your value proposition, get clear on what is it, the one thing that you need them to know when you finish speaking. For me, a great message statement is 10 words or less. It's easy to repeat. Being a songwriter, I like to say it's like the chorus of a song. 2 weeks after you've spoken to someone, they should be able to remember that message that you were communicating. So there might be a message. When I won the World Championships last year, my message was, your life is a book. If you're not enjoying the read, write a different story. That was my message, write a different story. Everything around my speech supported the idea that you could write a different story about difficult circumstances. So get clear on your message. Get clear on what is it that your idea, your offering is going to do for the world. Because when people get that, that's what they're going to commit to. Okay, so get clear on your message. The I of a gift, of a great pitch or presentation, is in order to get that message to your audience, because you don't want to come right out front, take all the curiosity out and tell them this is my message. They've got to be curious. You've got to uncover the message. And the way you uncover the message, because ultimately the message is inside the box, they've got to still get through it. They've got to unwrap it. Okay. So this is where you intentionally craft a story or a scenario or an analogy that illustrates what it is that your solution or your idea that you're offering. Again, if it's a connection point, if they can see themselves in the shoes of the person that you're describing or the situation you're describing, that is going to really help them to understand the message when you reveal it. Okay. So this takes work. This is why I work as a speaking coach, because people struggle to get clear on their message, and then they struggle to tell their story in a short, succinct way. But every single one of us has a powerful story inside of us, and we have powerful ways to communicate our ideas. So get clear on your message, intentionally craft your story. The F of the gift is what Bussy was speaking about so much, and that is you have to fill in the gaps for the audience. What is it that they are looking to get out of your pitch? And make sure it's in your pitch. Fill in the gaps. Fill in the exact amount of money you need. Fill in exact amount of time you think it's going to take. Fill in the exact kind of impact you're hoping to make, the scaling you're thinking of doing, how many people need to be on your team. Don't be vague. Fill in the gaps for what they need. And this is where it's important to have done your research before you go and pitch to someone, so that you're speaking to their values and saying, and this is how I'm going to make it happen for you. So fill in the gaps for them. And the T of the gift is make sure that when you get to your conclusion, that bottom piece of the bun, you are tying together everything you've already said. A great conclusion is not a time to be adding in extra points. This is where you go back to your introduction. You maybe bring back your reason to care, but it's shifted now because now you've already shared a solution and a message that they're really excited about. But make sure you tie in all your poignant key points so that you can give them that call to action. Finish strong. Please don't tailor off and go, yeah, that's the end. Please don't do that. Finish strong so that when you say your last word, it's like you've gone, here, this is my gift for you. This is the message that I want you to take home and make meaningful and partner with me and make magic in the future. So that is how you write a great presentation. Get clear on your message, convey that message with an intentionally crafted story. Make sure you fill in the gaps of what the audience is needing to hear from you, not what you think they need, and then tie it all together with a powerful and punchy conclusion that has that call to action. So that for me is a great speech in a nutshell. It becomes that little hamburger and not that overstuffed one. It allows you to access your life force and make sure that you present your message with power and still have all the mechanics in place. But most importantly, it sets you up to step onto that stage or onto the screen with confidence, with purpose, with presence, and with power. And that's what I wish for each and every one of you, is to present your story with power, because your message matters and your gift is something your investors need. Thank you.
My good Lord. Musi, you can switch on your camera again. Verity. Verity, verity, verity. Or should I say verily, verily, verily. I don't even know where to start. Verity, that was amazing. It was incredible and it was powerful stuff. Hey, Musi.
Yay, that was amazing. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Wow.
Enjoyed that. Totally enjoyed it.
And I love the hamburger analogy. Like that was such a
Like, oh my
You know-
goodness, so much sense.
because simplicity really is the ultimate sophistication, as they would say. And we sometimes overdo things with these presentations where people at the end of your conversation, they can't even remember what you were selling anymore. What was the thing on slide 2? Was it on slide 50? I mean, even a bad presentation, in fact, is a presentation with too many slides. Period. Even when you walk into a meeting, I've been in sales forever. I've ran a sales team as well. And, one thing for sure, when you walk into a boardroom and you're about, the minute you open your first slide and they can see there's 65 pages, you can already see the audience retracting. You can already see your audience already, not being impressed, and they already can tell that it's going to take too long. But Verity, there's so much that you said there. I just want to emphasize on one thing before I bring our audience onto the stage. There's one thing that you said, which ties in with what Busi said as well. You mentioned the thing of a common goal and synergy, and that's what Busi also alluded to. You have to have a common objective with the investor. They're not there to buy into your dream, but you need to tell them how how you're going to help them achieve their dream whilst achieving yours as well. So that common goal, for me, it's always been a key thing when it comes to selling. Before you pick up the phone, do we have a common objective? Can we meet each other at our point of need, basically? But thank you so much to everybody, and I'm sure you can see the live chats are coming through. We're going to bring our audience on board. Before I bring our audience on board, I just want to mention one thing as well, highlight one thing that you mentioned, Verity. You talked about life force. Life force is not something that we all have. It's not something that we need to go learn at school. What we need to learn through life experiences, in fact, is just a matter of fully expressing it. People always remember the person with passion, and you can't talk about life force without talking about passion, because I think the best life force, in fact, or the ultimate life force is when they say someone is very energetic, it's just passion actually, unfolding itself to the fullest. I can't believe you are so amazing and you were afraid of public speaking at some point. So it is true what Marianne Williams says, that our greatest fear is not how inadequate we are, but how powerful and how great we actually can be. Before I go on for too long, let me bring on board a couple of people. Pumzile, there you are. Masejo, Lufuno. So I'm just bringing on board according to, as they appear on the screen. And I think we can have about up to 50 people on the screen, and then we'll bring the rest on. Alex, my screen is frozen. Is it showing the audience on your site? Natasha, welcome.
It's also frozen. Let me check. Yes.
Violetu, welcome. Ketsitse Losaba, welcome. Welcome Apiwe Mkize. Welcome Nunkazimulo Ngobo. Let me see. Welcome Charlene. Welcome Teran. Palisa. I see actually that I did something wrong. I started with the ones that joined at the end, forgetting our audience, Abo Adri, that have been there since the beginning. Welcome, Adri. Welcome, Simpiwe. Let's see. And there's Boyko Tubelo. Natasha looks like a director there, hey? Very intimidating. Hey, Natasha Singh. And there's
No, not at all.
Raphael, welcome. Let me see who else is requested. Let's see. Let's try to add everybody that has requested to come onto the stage. Remember, guys, we're only bringing the ones that have requested to come onto the stage.
Wow, you ladies look beautiful.
Thank you. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Busen.
All right, so I've managed to bring on board everybody that is requested to come onto the stage. I think the rest of okay, there's Mashudu. Chantal, welcome. Okay, I think to save some time, I will be adding as and when they request. Welcome, guys. Oh, wow. Wow, welcome. So good to see you all beautiful, powerful women. Women with power. Okay, I think how do you want to do this? We'll see. I think it was in Verity. Should we go just choose a name and maybe we're going according to the order and just find out who wants to ask a question? Okay, Natasha, we'll start with you because you're right there at the top.
Sure. Hi, everyone. And I'd just like to start by saying I've been watching the conference since yesterday, and I've not missed or tried not to miss a single session that happened. And really, by far, this is the best session that I've been to. Personally, I really believe that the learnings that came from this will really elevate me to where I want to be. The stuff that Busi and both Verity with you, the fact that you shared your story about public speaking, that was something that I struggled with for years. I always tell people, like now at work, I'm often the person that's get called to present all the time. And when I say to them, when I was little, I was the person that would stammer and the person that could never speak, and I would hide away from it. And luckily for me, I had an educator when I was in grade 1 that took the time to sit with me and help me through that. So yeah, I can really resonate with the stuff that you've said. And my question is, so I really love the content, and it's really given me good context of how to really put together my business plan. But often for me, when I'm trying to put this business plan, I'm just looking at structure. So where would be a point of me to go to? Like, is there a specific place that I would go to? I know this Google has a lot of templates in terms of drafting a business plan, but obviously a business plan would differ from one department to the next or one segment to the next. So where would you say is an ideal place, if we could call it ideal place, for me to actually go and get an idea of how to draft a business plan for that specific type of business or industry?
Busi, should I leave that to you? I can give you a book for writing and structuring a perfect speech, but I'm gonna leave Busi with the business plan.
So, Natasha, that is a very good and very important question, because like Babala was saying, if you've got 97 slides, nobody is interested. Once your business plan looks like a book, nobody wants to touch it. So you want the most simple. There is actually a method that was created, and it's on the internet a lot. It's called the Compass Business Plan. It's it's 2 pages that has about 7 or 8 sections. And I can literally send everybody the link. I can put it up here and you can see it. It gives you 7 things that those 7 questions that when you answer, the investor will have gotten enough information. But other than that, when you need to type one up, don't try go above 3 pages. So, and anyway, in your business plan, the most important thing is your executive summary. Your executive summary needs to have everything that the investor needs right there. Yeah, it's somebody else is reminding me, it's a business model compass. Thank you so much. That business model compass gives you almost every question you need to answer about your business without you saying too much or too little. But the executive summary, if you are almost every somebody's yes, I think it was Lerato, you've unmuted. So if you are going to have to type something and explain a little bit more, you want to focus on your executive summary. Investors never open to the next page. You know, like Google, when you're looking for something on Google, nobody goes to page 2. I mean, there's a joke around the internet that if you found something on page 2, you are really desperate. Nobody goes to page 2. We all look for the 1, 2, 3, 4 things. After the 4th one, we got. So executive summary is where you're going to say, remember that first line that I said to you. How much do you want? How long are you going to make this money? And how much money are you going to make? If you tell me that on the first paragraph, you got me, I will read the whole page, but definitely I will not go to page 2, but I will read everything. So the first paragraph is where you give me what I need. Then I'm hooked. Then the next thing, you tell me who you are. So then I'm sure that I can believe in you. Then the last part of that executive summary, then you make me understand that you know something about this business. You have your facts correct. So if you have that in your executive summary, and it makes sense to me, once I go to page 2, I will only go to page 2 if I'm willing to give you the money, and I just want to know how much money I want to give you. So look at the business model compass in terms of getting the most simplest version of a business plan.
Sorry, Busi, we're gonna miss your summary there. Pumsile, can you put yourself on mute, please?
Oh yeah, there's a.
Thank you, Busi. You can continue.
Okay. So. Okay. So you have the 3 pages. It should not, if it's more than 2 pages, then you said too much. Because remember, Natasha, you just want them to get what you're talking about. If they want to give you the money, they will always say, call you in and say, now explain to us the whole story. Then you will have a time to maybe have a 1-hour presentation. So this is not. And sometimes when you are looking for money, you want to give them too much information. No, you just want to get them interested in opening the gift. So don't say too much. Say, you know scammers. If you've never been scammed, then you have not lived enough. But scammers do not give you everything. They give you only the part where they say, give me 50 rand, I'll make it 100 rand. It's that you like what? You know, they've been sharing this thing on social media that even if you are, no matter how far you have gone, life has taken you, but don't ever let anybody take your 100 rand and make it 500. But a scammer is gonna only give you that line. Come to me, I can make you 100 rand. That's all. If they don't believe in that, they're not gonna believe in anything else you wanna say. So make sure that I want the 50,000 rand, Standard Bank is giving 50,000 rand. You better let them know what is the 15,000 rand gonna give you. Because in this case, remember, they are giving it to you as a gift, but they want to give it to the person who's going to do the most. And if you say to me, give me 50,000, I'm going to make 5 million, you then just have to prove to me, you can take 50,000 and make it 5 million. Hey, Natasha, you have got higher powers. What are your powers? Then you tell me, these are my powers. So As long as you can prove to me that you can make the 50,000 10 into 3 million, you can take the 50,000 and hire 2 people. You can take the 50,000 and make sure that you manufacture something. Then I'm giving you the money as Standard Bank. Yeah.
Thank you.
That is
Yes.
how the judges are going to be looking at it, Natasha. Thank you so much, Mama.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bruce. And Natasha is also saying thank you there. I think the next question, one thing I want to highlight that you mentioned there is actually coming back to what Verity said, the great conclusion. You know, that executive summary, look at it as the great conclusion. You know, one thing for sure is that, you know, like I said, I used to do, I've always been in sales. Your email, your pitch, your telephone pitch, your email, your proposal should basically be the same conversation. It's just in different formats, you know, and there shouldn't be a difference between the three. And I think coming back to what you're saying as well, Lucy, your pitch must be your business proposal, basically. So consider your pitch, your business proposal, your pitch on paper. Do we have, by show of hands, just the first question for Verity? We don't want to lose Verity there. Who has a question for Verity? Okay, there's Tsakani. Okay, Tsakani, we'll give over to you. You can ask Verity the first question.
Hi, thank you, Babalwa. Hi, Verity. It's not necessarily a question, but rather to reflect on the message that you shared. My first experience with public speaking was at my grandmother's funeral, and I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. So ever since that experience, it sort of resonated back now into my office experiences, that every time I need to do a presentation, my mind just sort of drifts back to that emotional form of presenting and giving information. So what you shared today about how we approach presentations is really, really helpful. And I'm quite grateful for this Teams era, because it's sort of like taught a person how to take control of your emotions and being able to present, because you're not really in front of a live audience per se. So it's really been very informative, and thank you for your contributions today.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tsakani. The first a question for Verity. That wasn't a question, as Tsakani correctly said. Does anyone have a question for Verity? By show of hands.
I see Priya.
Okay, Priya. Is it Priya or Priscilla? Priya. Oh, there's Priya. Yes,
Yeah.
Priya. You can go ahead and ask the question.
But I could be a Priscilla if you want, no problem.
Just for today.
Just for today. Verity, thank you so much for the way you came through and, you know, giving us a little bit of the truth and your vulnerability. Because I think we all forget about that. We forget about our vulnerability, and, you know, we try and put ourselves in this perfect box or model that we need to, you know, be 5 or 10 steps ahead because of our limitations as women. So I've been in the consulting industry, and, you know, you learn all these beautiful things about presentation. So, you know, you go according to the checklist, you know, and all these guides and tricks, etc. But the one thing I still feel I'm lacking on, it's not even a skill or the professional side of it. It's about getting the output that I want. And whether it's, you know, all the guides you've given me today, I understand that, but I'm still falling short on creating that output, getting to the end result. And I'm hoping you can help me more on that.
Sure. So I think that's a big challenge for a lot of people, Priya. It's like, I've got all these things I need to say. I understand the nuts and bolts of it, but it's still not coming across. So the thing that I would suggest there is also to look at working and partnering with someone, because sometimes we can't see the value in our own story, or we can't see that golden thread. I mean, that's my job as a coach, is to do that. You know, I've got someone now in Canada I'm coaching, and they send me a speech that's a mess, but my job is to look at it and go, that's golden. let's embellish that, let's work on that. And so it's hard to see it ourselves. And even last year when I won the World Championships, I paid for an international coach to work with me. My sister Kay worked with me relentlessly, going, that could be better, that could be better. So sometimes it's helpful to have someone see our story with us. But also, if you go to the basics, what is my message? Start with your message. If you can't say your message in a sentence, you're not going to be able to say it in an hour. That's Diana Boyer. If you can't say your message in a sentence, you're not going to be say it in an hour. And if people are doing a pitch and you got 3 minutes, it's even more important. I know when I pitched to speak at TEDx, you've got 90 seconds to pitch for them to choose you. I had to be really clear on what's the value in the speech that I'm giving. And my message then was convenience kills creativity. It was a really clear message. It got their attention. It made them curious. I won that pitch. So what is it you're trying to say? If you had one sentence to speak to the world, one sentence that would change everything, what is that sentence? And we can't always find it ourselves. It's having someone else find us, because yes, lots of people do catering for conferences, but when you say, I'm going to do catering that makes people want to come back next year, that's a pretty cool message. So can you find that thing? But if you're struggling on your own, reach out to someone, work with a buddy, work with a mentor or a coach, and that will help you see the value in what you're trying to say.
Thank you, Verity. And Boosie, you are a powerhouse girl. Your passion, your authenticity, I will remember you ladies. I think until next year, really, you'll have set the tone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Priya. And remember, if you want to connect with Busi and Verity, just on the main stage, you will be able to see what the LinkedIn accounts are, Twitter account, and so forth, just under the speaker.
Lovely.
Yes. So you'll be able to.
Thank you. I definitely will.
Yes, definitely. So you don't have to wait until next year. Next year is a long time.
Okay. A long time. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much for that, Verity. Thank you, Priya. I think we'll now move over to Priscilla. Priscilla, what is your question?
Thank you so much, Babalwa. Just also to first comment, we are really ending this second day on a high note. You have resuscitated. I don't know how excited I am as I'm sitting here. You've actually done just what Busi was sharing of a catering story when she said, you must tell the investor why must they actually choose a caterer. You have made us to come back next year because of your ingredients. That's what I can tell you. All right. So, yeah, I've also tried to do some pitch, and, so many women has fallen, has given up. And I think that if all the women in business had the opportunity to listen to you, you would have resurrected so many of them and redeemed them. But my main question now to you is, do you perhaps have programs or workshops that you are running in the provinces that will allow more engagement, and capacitating us as the women entrepreneurs? For instance, I'm in Eastern Cape in Port Elizabeth, and I believe there's vast majority of women who would love to form, to be part of these informative sessions that you've just conducted now.
Wow.
I certainly run programs. I'd love to know what Busi does, because I want to be on her program.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Priscilla. And of course, me and Verity, our job is to make sure that we are helping every day people who need this kind of help. So of course, there is a lot of programs that we have, and like Babala was saying earlier, if you go to our LinkedIn pages, if you go to our Instagram, we have a lot of programs that you can use. I have 3 programs on my website that you can start, specifically on the mindset issues and healing, the energy you have around money, which is one of the most important things, because you can be passionate, want to do something, but if you haven't healed from the past, life has beaten us up all. All of us, I can see we are all the same age here. We are all tired. It's been very hard. So we need to heal from these things so that we can wake up again and say, because now we have the experience. Life has shown us us so much. But then we need to use the experience to make us money. Guys, we have not been suffering for nothing. So whatever that we've been through, we need to now use it to make us money. So we need to heal a lot. So I've got a lot of free programs on my website, busiselesho.com. But if you go to my Instagram, you find them easier. On my Instagram stories, I'm gonna put a few links, even the link I promised of the business plan, I'm gonna put it on my Instagram stories. So go there and check that out. And I know Verity also has programs that can help you, but we are here for you.
Yeah. I have a book, if that helps you step by step to write your next speech. It's on my website, verityprice.com. It's 180 Rand. It's an ebook, but it's templates for structuring a speech, for getting to your message, for creating your stories, for finding the humor. Chapter by chapter, it'll help you write a winning speech. And then you can also reach out to me for individual coaching. I coach people all over the world to give winning presentations. And then I run a Present with Power course where we can put 15 people on an online space, and it's really beautiful. You see the confidence build over 6 sessions. So please get in touch and we can make the magic happen.
Thank you so much, Busi and Verity. Verity, how much is that Present with Power course?
Of course, well, it depends, because I'm normally doing it for corporates. So there it works out at about, gosh, I'd have to check my maths. It's probably about 8,000 or 9,000 Rand per delegate for the 6 sessions. And if enough people get hold of me, I will then do a public course. It's just not one that I normally do. I run it in so many corporates, but it's a beautiful process. 10 to 15 people, you speak in every session, you get live feedback, you do peer feedback, you learn how to think on your feet, you learn how to MC a program. It's my happy place, because I see people who've told me that they cannot speak and they're terrified. I just see them coming to life, and that's why I do what I do.
Oh, thank you so much, Verity. No, that 8,000 to 9,000 will have to wait for now. I'll go for the 180 Rand book in the meantime.
That's what I'm saying. Get the 180 book and use it, because speaking is a learn by doing activity, but you also can do it in bite-sized chunks and become an incredible speaker.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Verity. Thank you, Busi, for your. And I just want to sell Busi's healing stuff that she's talking about. You might wonder, why is she suddenly talking healing? And when somebody start talking about healing, you're thinking, some fluffy business or whatnot. When Busi is talking about healing from death, she's talking about something that she wrote that she has walked. As I said earlier on, Busi she was so good into getting funding that she got into 40 million Rand debt, to a point where she was locked down. Basically, she called it a prison, where she was locked down for 16 years in terms of activity. Being a board member, not allowed to serve as a director, not allowed to do any of these other kind of things for 16 years. So she knows what it means. She says she couldn't even sleep. I mean, I can't even fall asleep with the 16,000 Rand debt sometimes. You sometimes feel like you can't breathe, let alone 40 million Rand, So she definitely knows what she's talking about. Please check that out too. And Verity's book, I think we can all afford that 180 Rand month end. Nokutula will come back. Nokutula, it's your turn. Please ask your question.
I don't have a question. I'm just enjoying everything everybody's talking about. I think you guys have covered you filled in my gaps, basically. I had all these questions and you answered all of them. So I'm really grateful. And I'm following you all guys on your social media page. I'm just finding you on Instagram and Twitter and posting on LinkedIn. So I'm just so grateful. Yes, I'm going to invest that 180 and then build my way up to building.
Okay, no, that's fine, Nokutula. So you just wanted to be on stage for nothing, Jay, just to show your face, fella.
I was actually pushing myself so that I take part, because almost when you're off camera, you can just walk out and be busy with other things.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Thank you. We love you.
It's fine. I think we'll now go to, is it Mapale? Okay, Mapale, you can ask a question.
Hi, Babala. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask 3 questions. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but this is my chance, so I just want to go ahead. I just also want to reiterate what Priscilla said. This is a very beautiful platform. we're meeting a lot of wonderful people. You know, I know Busi from what is this? The Toastmasters in Pretoria. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Just a quick question that I want to pose to Verity. How do you advise a person that is dealing with imposter syndrome? I mean, we've been talking about things such as, you know, gender equity, especially in a very male-dominating space where you need to, you know, it's very easy for you to actually disqualify yourself in a space, you know, before you even tap into it. How, what advice would you give somebody that is actually struggling with imposter syndrome, especially when coming to pitches and things like that? And then, I don't know, can I ask my other question too? And then it will be recorded.
Let's let Verity answer that one, Mapala. That's an excellent question, and then we can get to the second one. Verity?
Thank you so much, Barbara.
Yeah, that's a big question and a great question. And I'll just share with you all honestly, I didn't fully understand what imposter syndrome was until I received a trophy saying I was the best speaker in the world. And I was like, really? How did that happen? Do I deserve that? Maybe it's because it was virtual. I made a mistake. I mean, I have battled imposter syndrome for a year because I'm in the boys club now. There's only 6 women in 80 years who've ever won that contest. And I really saw that. So my journey has been to go, this is normal. It's very, very normal for us to question our self-worth, but we also are able to gently and kindly go, but I do have this value and I'm going to show up for this thing I believe in. And my voice does matter. And my take on how I see the world is relevant. So I think it's one step at a time journey. I don't have one of those egos that goes, and I'm totally fine. I'm always second guessing myself. Could it be better? What did I do wrong? But I still show up. And this is where I believe true confidence is being okay with things not being okay. Going in and doing that pitch and bombing it and going, that's okay. What did I learn? How can I change it next time? How can I adapt? And I think that's how we overcome it. And sometimes I just name it. I say to people, I don't know how I got here. I'm feeling like, wow. And that disarms them. Now I'm not an imposter. Now I'm just an honest human being who's going, but I'm here because I believe in something. So that's my answer. I don't know if that's the right approach, but it works for me.
Excellent approach, Verity. I fully agree with you. It's a common problem, number one. Let's first start there. It's not a foreign problem. It's a common problem. We all go through it, even the most confident people, you know. Just to get back to your second question, Mpale.
Sure. Thank you so much, Verity. I think I like the honesty. You know, I think that's what counts the most, because in most cases, you know, we always put in a facade and always be like, you know what, and motivate to be like, this is how you do it. You know, these are the steps, step 1, 2, 3. But the fact that you're honest, and it's amazing because we are our biggest critics and it's not supposed to be like that. Moving on to Busi, I've got 2 questions that I want to pose. You spoke about the importance of executive summary. But I think in my pitches, one thing that I've realized, the forecasting turns to be one of the things that the investors turn to look at, because they want to see where the money is going, how they're going to, you know, if they're going to invest, what is the ROI, you know, things such as those ones. How important is the forecasting and the executive summary? Because in most cases, one would want to actually focus on the financials, because that's where they want to see that this is how much you're going to make in a year's time, in 6 months' time, and things like that. And another question is, I'm a graphic designer by profession and brand specialist, but I'm also tapping into edutech because, you know, mobile apps is things that I want to venture into. I've realized, especially with the graphics sphere, you know, it's a very congested industry. And we've got these self-taught, you know, people that did not necessarily go to school. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, you know, and there's a lot of competing that takes place. How do you make sure that your value proposition or your unique proposition stands out from the rest, and so that you can be chosen? Because it's like me going to an investor and telling them that, you know what, I've got a digital marketing company. And they would ask, what's so special about you? You know, I'm a graphic designer. What's so special about you? We've got Canva, we've got Wix, you know, all these stock images and stock websites. So what's so special about you? How do you come up with the best value proposition and the unique proposition whereby investors will actually look into buying into your idea? and invest into your idea. I think that's about it. Got so much questions, but I think I'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Oh, those are great questions. Those are great questions, Nofed. So I will start with question number 2. You just remind me question number 1 a little bit because maybe the line was cutting a little bit. So question number 2, investors don't care about what you are doing. So if you are looking and you're comparing yourself with Canva, don't do it. You are not Canva, and Canva, you shouldn't be in your mind. Unless you really, really want to compete with Canva, which is maybe something very big. But investors want to know, can you make money? You know, when Facebook was started, you've heard the stories of how Facebook was started from a garage and this and this. And the story is that Facebook started as a college get-together type of thing. And if Facebook knew what Facebook was going to be, it wasn't going to start off. But what you want to give to the investor is that my idea is going to make money. So how can your photography make money? So the weirdest thing, my daughter is a photographer. So yesterday we were in town in Pretoria. So there's these guys that are taking photos of people on the street, and then they will give the people the photos, and they will, a person will buy them the photo, 5 rand, whatever. And one time I was on holiday in Camps Bay, and I met these guys. He's doing the same thing, but he's doing it at the beach. He says, but at the end of the day, most days he makes about 5,000 rand a day, because he takes you 2-3. You are on holiday. He takes you 2-3 pictures, and you like them, and he says, "Hey, lady, let me give you a photo shoot." And at the end, you've paid 500 rand. He says he makes about 5,000 rand a day. He makes about 25,000 rand a week, 100,000 rand a month from taking people of pictures at Camps Bay. That guy has moved from Joburg to Cape Town because he's making that much money. Now, that same, and I was telling my daughter, you see those people, they are making a lot of money. You can think it's a joke that they're taking pictures of people on the street of Pretoria in the middle of nothing. They don't have overheads. They literally just do that the whole day, and they send it to you through Bluetooth or whatever. So they have no expenses. So those people are making money. That guy at Camps Bay, he's making the 100,000. He just needs to be at the beach. And if you work at the beach, I mean, how amazing is your life? So if you have an investor, you go to an investor, you say, I need 20,000 rand to buy a camera that is going to make me 100,000 rand every month. What kind of an investor wouldn't give you the 20,000 rand? So don't think about Canva. Don't think about who you're competing with. Don't take those things out of your mind. You're confusing yourself. Investors don't care. Even if you want 20,000 rand to make 100,000 rand, the investor knows that if you're making, they give you 20,000 rand and you're making 100,000 rand, they can get 30,000 rand every month from you. Since you will be having 70, they will be having 30,000. They're happy. Investors, all they want is extra. The thing of passive income, you will never know happiness until you have passive income, because passive income is money that works for itself. So even if you give them 20,000, they are happy. They will give you the 20,000 for you to go and buy this amazing equipment you need, as long as you show them it's going to make money. So sit with your idea and say, how much money can I make out of this? And stick with only that. Okay, so the other question, sorry, Mampile, please give me the other question. I totally forgot.
Thank you so much. The other question was in connection to, you said, basically it's you kind of like answered it, but in a different way. You spoke about the importance of the executive summary. And I was saying in my sales pitches, one thing that I've realized is the forecasting turns to be the most important one, because they want to see the ROI, how are you going to make money? That's what they're interested in. Yes, you've got a graphic company, a branding company, digital marketing company, but how are you going to make money? That's where we want to see in order for us to invest.
Oh, yes, you're correct that we're answering the same question. So in your executive summary, of course, you're not going to bring the big table of numbers. month 1, month 2, month 3. But you have to tell a story of what it is that you're going to make. So that is why the executive summary is so important. How you sell me the story is what is going to make me open the page where there's the forecasting. When I'm opening the forecasting, what I'm saying to you is that, I am interested. You got me there at your first page. So you want to make the first page look so good. You remember when Verity was showing us that box and that envelope? The box was looking so pretty. We also said, what is inside? You could even think there's a BMW inside of that thing, but it's maybe it won't fit, but maybe, just maybe. So they will go to that page if that executive summary is enticing, and you have to make it look juicy there at the executive summary. It must be catchy enough for them to open that page. So don't worry about putting numbers there. The numbers they need is the numbers that count, which is how much can you make. And don't bring anything to that session and that pitch that says that my idea might just be small for you. There's no small man in the world. I tell you, I always say to people, I have owed the bank 40 million. And I've also owed the bank 1,000 rand. It's the same pain. When you owe 1,000 rand and you better go big or go home, really.
Thank you so much for that, Musi. I'm so sorry. We are left with only 10 minutes, ladies, and we're actually pushing it because we're supposed to finish at 3. But I blame our speakers. So in front of everyone, I'm blaming them. They got us too excited. So if they are going to gun me afterwards, I'll let you know via email. Ukuti, these people got us excited. The next thing, Welcome, Karabo Ochoa. Welcome, Yasmin. Karabo, do you have anything to say there on your side? I see there's Karabo there. Okay, I think Karabo's just joined, but she's on mute, or maybe the volume is off. Just to add, before I forget on what you talked about, imposter syndrome, Mapale, I just remembered one of my favorite sayings, quotes by Deepak Chopra. He says that life itself is intelligence riding on chemicals. You do not make the mistake of thinking that the horse and the rider are the same. Life itself is intelligence riding on chemicals. Do not make the mistake of thinking that the rider and the horse are the same. So I just want to say it's important to separate between the role and your self-worth. It's important to separate between your self-worth and the inadequacy, because you are the awareness that is watching the show, that is aware that I can improve here, I can improve there. That's enough from my side. Any other question? Who has a question for the last? Can we see by show of hands? Does anyone else have a question? Lerato, do you have a question there? Okay, we'll hear from Lerato. We'll hear.
Hi everyone.
Sorry, Lerato. Yeah. There's Sylvia. Sylvia, can you put yourself on mute, please? Sylvia's waiting for Uber. I just said something about Uber. Okay, so
hi everyone. How are you? Today, everything that I'm doing, it's just saying it can't be, it can't be, it can't be. It's against it can be. Load shedding, my laptop died, my phone died, everything. I'm talking now from the tablet. So, and I don't really have a question.
Against all odds, that is you rising above that noise.
I am here. And imagine, Babala, to think that I actually misunderstood your email. I thought that we actually pitching today. So I was so frustrated when there was network jam and all that, and I'm thinking, oh my word, now I'm going to miss this opportunity to actually pitch. But the questions that I had were mostly answered by Busi and Verity, actually. So I would just like to say I am very, very honored to be on the platform, and we appreciate Topco Media and Standard Bank Top Women with the platform that they're giving us, because we really learn so much. We get empowered to understand the markets that we operate within, and most importantly, how to anticipate and manage risks, as well as resource planning, So the masterclasses have really been very helpful,
We're happy.
And
We're
yeah,
happy.
I don't have a question. My questions were answered through
Thank you so
the
much,
talking.
Natasha. Thank you. Next time I'll
That's
make sure that the email is in Sutu or in Pedi and not in English. Natasha, we can hear you. You said you've got a question.
Yeah, sorry, quickly, I know you pressed for time. Two things. Ideally, if you had an investor, what would you say is like a specific time frame they're expecting to see returns on the investment? And then the second part of that is there like a specific or an ideal amount that you should pay when you're getting a contract done with yourself and the investor? Is there like a guideline or benchmark amount? Yeah.
We'll see. I think that's yours.
Okay. Those are good questions, Natasha. So the return, the time for the returns depend on the money. Normally, you are going to get 6 months. Normally, all investors will give you around about 6 months for you to start returning what you need to be returning. But then depending on the type of investor you found, when you found something like an angel investor is probably somebody who really believes in you with everything, and they can give you 5 years to go and use this money, and they say, one day when I retire, bring back my money. I mean, if you get an angel investor, it's definitely an angel, it's something coming from heaven like that. You know, it's nice. And there are angel investors that will allow you to do that. But the normal commercial investor will say to you, I give you 6 months, and after a 6 months period, you start paying me little by little. And when the business is growing, then you will start doing that. Or sometimes there's an investor that says, I don't want anything back. I want one part of the business. So of course, depending then when the business starts to make money, then both of you can start to make the money. So really, it depends on how you negotiate. Now, where, Natasha, I want you to be very clever, is that a lot of women entrepreneurs, now I'm going to be gender-based, women give too much, too soon. God, please, don't do it. Men know how to negotiate to the last bit where they can get men can get an investor to start wanting their money after 2 years, while a woman will say 2 months is enough. No, you have value. This investor needs you in negotiating by itself is another class. I can give you for free that one, Natasha. When you say I've got an investor, please negotiate to the last, whatever you can be able to. You are the one who's making the money. You are the machine here. The investor doesn't need their money urgently. You need the money, remember, because you need to make money out of this. So negotiate and negotiate and negotiate as much as you can. And, make all the odds to be on your side for you to make the money. Because when you make the money, you're going to benefit you and the investor. So there's no need for you to say, I'll start bringing your money back quickly while you haven't done enough. So always ask 2 years, I would say, start there. And then they can start to say, and at 2 years, you're saying, I'm only going to give you 1%. And then when we go along, I can give you 2, and then. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Busi. And it's true, Yazi. And I think it actually comes with that sacrificial nature of women, or the fact that we have to overcompensate because we're too hard on ourselves. So you don't give yourself the time that a man would give himself, with an investor, because you want to overcompensate, basically. Thank you so much for that question, Natasha. Thank you, Busi. And so we are left now with 2 minutes closing. We would love to hear from our wonderful, wonderful speakers. I feel like lululating for you too, just a little bit. Thank you, Loretta. Guys have been incredible, and the life force just between the two of you. I feel like I've got the perfect top bum and bottom bum of my burger.
Not to mention your life force, Babawa. My word, you bring the life.
Thank you so much. I'll be the petty in the middle then. Just some closing remarks from you, Verity, and then from you, Busi.
My closing thoughts are to remember that your voice matters, your message matters. When you give yourself the space to prepare and to really set yourself up for success, to breathe out more than you breathe in, and to believe that your story and your message has value, that's when you start to present with power. So please don't second guess yourself. Your voice does matter.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Verity. You know, Verity, and that actually just reminds me of one thing that you mentioned. Get out of the picture, you know, and so you have to get out of the picture. So get a third party, get somebody else to see the value in what you have to say, you know, because it's very hard for us to say. That's one thing that I sort of registered subconsciously that you said, which is very important. So do pitch someone else, do pitch the idea to someone else that can just identify for you where the golden nugget is. Thank you so much for that, Verity. You've been amazing. And I'm definitely buying that book, I promise you. And I'll save an entire year for that 9,000 Rand course. Yes, we'll see. Any final remarks from you?
So to add on what Verity is saying, ladies, remember at all times, you are the prize. If you walk in anywhere, you are the prize. Women businesses anyway in the whole entire world are valued more than men businesses. You know why? Because women businesses last longer and they are more impactful. So you are the prize at all times. When you walk into pitching anything, it's either you are selling a product or you are asking for an investment. Believe in yourself. You are amazing. You do. If you do not understand that, ask somebody to tell it to you. Stop somebody on the street and say, tell me something about me. They will tell you are amazing. So you are the prize. When you go there, you are not begging for the man. You are adding value in all things. You are adding value, because that idea, when it kicks off, it's going to save so many lives. It's going to make so many people happy. So I want to see you pitching with that knowledge, and it will show. I will feel it where I'm sitting, that this one, she gets it. She's the prize. She's telling us, if you let me go now, you're losing. You need to show up with that energy. So ladies, thank you so much. I'm so blessed that I was here, even if we took so much time. Thank you so much. I will put all the things I promised on my Instagram stories. Make sure that you are there. I've put it some of the websites there that you can find my programs. I also have a book. I have a whole lot of stuff that just go there and check. You will if you need healing, get it. If you need some money, get coaching and get it done. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Musi. Thank you so much, Verity. We appreciate you both very much. And thank you so much to our audience. You guys have been incredible. Thank you to our ladies that had the courage to come onto the stage. We love you. And you guys, you know what? I feel like dancing to that song by Whitney Houston. You know Whitney Houston's song that says, I want to dance with somebody. That's how I'm feeling right now, you know?
With somebody.
I think the day must be over now. Second day is finished.
This session will be available pre-recorded for those that want to access it. Just drop us an email and we'll make sure that you have access to the link. Thank you so much, ladies. Please take care of yourselves. And remember, Standard Bank Top Women is behind you 100% and here to empower you. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
I want to feel the heat with somebody.